board. And of course, with all the ones that we've been doing, I want you to give me the domain, the range, all the intercepts, the vertex, and then sketch it, and all of that. So let's go with negative 3/2 x squared minus 1/2 x plus 2 is equal to 0. And after this, we'll look at both sections. So get your syllabi out, syllabi, get it out, because we're going to be going over it and looking to see what we need to do for a test. Make a note of this. And that's what your first 2 minutes will cover. So if you've done that homework and you've done more homework, you do it. It's going to hurt the brain. That's what I'm going to test you. So you need to highlight them so you can make sure you know it. Yeah, that's what I usually have, but I rarely get to finish Unit 4 in all my classes. So if I do get to Unit 4, it'll be whatever we cover up until the last day of class, which is, the last day of class is I want to say the 25th of April, but I'm not sure. Something like that. The 28th is fine.
Those are the full tests?
Yeah. Right now, we're finishing up 3.4. And I'm going to probably put up a test on Unit 1 and Unit 2 in the next week. We will talk about that after we do this problem. Yeah, actually, let me do it. Best thing to do is just take your syllabus out and just copy, just highlight those sections. Unit 4, if I get the chance, I will cover all of Unit 4 because you're going to see Unit 4 in the And I would highly suggest that you keep your tests. I would print them out if I were you, and I would keep your notebook for this class because you need to study it about a week before Calc 1 starts. Especially those things I hit on: factoring, the shortcuts, complete the square, rationalizing the denominator, and logarithms, which we're going to get into in Unit 4. Yeah, we teach Calc 2 right now. Don't know what I'll be teaching at that time or not, but the more people we have in 110, the more people we take in 111. The more people we take 111, the better chance you have Calc 1 at the year.
A Gmail has just arrived.
All right, so we have this problem for those that are kind of meditating. I'll start you off. You shouldn't be meditating. Everybody should be just about finished with it. And if you are not, then either 1, you haven't been working with us, 2, you haven't been paying attention, or 3, you haven't got the whole concept down yet. And 4, if you haven't now when I say about finished, you should at least have the vertex or the x-intercept. You should have one of those two. Now, you might not have the sketch or the domain and range yet, and that's okay. But you should at least be through with completing the square. All right, so we're going to factor out a -3/2. Factor out a -3/2. That's what we're going to do. But I'm going to show you what you do when you factor out, so I'm going to divide each one by -3/2. That's what you do when you factor. So factor out a -3/2, and that's going to give you what here? It will always give you what? X squared, because you can't do completely square unless you have x is equal to what? 1. So that's the way you do it. -1/2 divided by -3/2 is a positive. And here's the math. I'm not going to worry about the negatives because I already got positive down. So we're dividing 1/2 by -3/2, or 3/2 to multiply by 2 what? And that's going to give us what? 1/3 plus blank is equal to -2 plus -3/2 times blank. And I'm not going to go over that rule, but I'm just going to mention it. Whatever you factor out, you multiply by the right side blank. Now that we've got XA is equal to 1, we can use completing the square. Remember, completing the square comes what? Second. If you have to factor out something, you've got to factor out first. You cannot complete the square unless A is equal to 1. So, 1/3 divided by 2/1 squared. 1/3 divided by 2/1 is equal to what? And 1/6 squared is
36.
the biggest problem with these problems, and these are test questions, right? These are test questions, is y'all try to do this first. You can't do that. You gotta do this first. And when we're through, we got -3/2 times x squared plus 1/3 x plus 1/36 is equal to -2 minus 3/2 times 1/36. And that is complete the square. You just completed the square on that problem. Now you haven't got it finished yet because basically you've got a cluster and you need to clean up the cluster. So this is shortcut number 1. So that's going to be -3/2 x plus 1/6 quantity squared is equal to -2 minus 3. We'll go into 3 one time, go into 36, what? 12 times? And what's 2 times 12? 24, so that'd be 1/24. And this turns into 48 over what? 24, that's right, guys. 48 over 24. And that's when everybody's supposed to be confused and don't know where that came from. And I'm not going to. -3/2 x plus 1/6 quantity squared. And what's -48 minus 1?
Positive. No, 40.
Oh, isn't that nice? The only problem is the bottom didn't come out like that, but it may get better. Okay, now from that, we can say a lot of things. One, we know that it's opening which way?
Downwards.
Opening downward. We know that, what's the 1.5 tell us?
It's going to be white.
Wider? No, it'll be narrow. Narrow, skinny, whatever. We know the vertex is equal to -1/6, comma, 49 over 24. What else do we know? We already know that the y-intercept, somebody tell me that's 0. The y-intercept is what? I don't know what the original was. Y'all help me out. 0, comma, is it 2? So now we've got a good bit of the drawing. Now you see why I really harp on complete the square. correct formula doesn't give you nothing but what? The x-intercepts. Now, what about give me the intercept form of this equation right here. Somebody would need, and put a star beside that. And the only reason I'm showing you this is because sometimes the homework wants it, and there may be a question on the test. I try not to do it, but there may be a question that wants you to put it in the intercept form. So that'd be f of x is equal to what? Negative 3 halves, parentheses, x plus 1/6. No, that's all right, I'll do it. X plus 1/6 squared. And then what? Plus 49 over 24. So you need to make a note of that. Highlight that. You make sure you know in your notes that the reason I show you that is because I don't want anybody saying, oh, you didn't show us how to do that. Yeah, I did. Been showing it to you since the beginning. So now, what's the only thing we got to do now to get our x-intercepts? All correct, Hubert. That's right, class. Appreciate the interaction. Negative, what's my dove? Is Lexington. So negative 3 halves, x plus 1/6 1 squared is equal to negative 49 over 24. Do we have x-intercepts?
No.
Yes, we do. You're
Yeah, we
wrong.
do.
Go live in the ditch. Why? There's a negative over there, Hubert. Yes, but there's also a what?
A negative.
Negative over there. And that's going to make it a what?
Positive.
So we have x-intercept. Now watch that. The only time a negative tells you that there ain't there is when you've got a positive right here. And then you'll have a negative, and you can't take the square root of the negative. Okay?
All right.
You done already?
Yeah.
So the next question. Divide by negative 3 halves. Divide by negative 3 halves. You multiply by negative 2/3. And what's 3 times 24?
72.
I was hoping it'd come out to 970, but it's not. Yeah, 72. Oh well, we'll have to rationalize. Okay, so, well, I meant for this one to be difficult, so we got x plus 1/6 quantity squared is equal to 49 times 2 is, or we could do this, we could cancel. That'd be a 12, right? It does come out to be nice. No, 3, yeah, 36. Yay! So that'd be 49 over what? And why did I say yay?
Yeah, even.
Both of them are perfect what? Squares.
Squared.
So how do you undo a square?
Square root.
That's going to give you x plus 1/6 is equal to positive or negative 7 over 6. And that positive or negative really goes out front, but you can take it to the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter. Most people take it to the top, so you can add these two. So x is equal to positive or negative 7 minus 1 over 6. It's a major high level math there. 7 minus 1 is,
6.
and 6 divided by 6. There's one x-intercept. Negative 7 minus 1 is negative 8. Negative 8 over 6 is negative 4/3. So now sketch it out. Let's take a look at what we've got so far. Y-intercept of 0, 2. A vertex. Somebody give me the vertex again.
Negative 1/6, comma 49 over 22.
And a x-intercept of 1 and negative 4/3. There's your graph. And we got a y-intercept of 0, 2. And we've got a vertex of negative 1, 6, which would be to the left. And what, 24 and 24 is 48, so that's negative 2. So negative vertex is negative 1, 8. And negative 2, close enough to very much work. Negative 1, 8, and negative 2. And then the x-intercepts will be 1 and supposed to be positive. Negative 1, 6 and positive 2. It's a little bit more than positive 2. Somebody, what's 49 divided by 24? 2.1 to 22? How did I know that was wrong? Because I was looking. It wasn't working. It was down here, and I knew that it opens which way? Downward, and I knew one X intercept was over here. Something wasn't working. And if you're catching on to that, you're catching on real good. So 1 is right here, and negative 4/3 is negative 1 1/3. So it looks like to me it's lining up pretty good. Because A told us that it's opening down and it's more what? Narrow. So let's go ahead and do domain. Range is negative infinity to 49/24. Increasing from negative infinity to negative 1/6, and then decreasing from negative 1/6 to infinity. You should be able to do one of those in about a couple minutes. All the way through. If it takes you 35 minutes to get to just the sketching part, and you're playing Beethoven, ding, 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 you're pecking at Beethoven. In other words, anybody in here that plays a musical instrument knows that to play a musical instrument flowingly, in other words, to flow, you have to be able to play the music without what? Without breaks. How do you play the music without breaks? Right? So if you suck time-wise at doing these, then that means that the teacher hasn't done his job and that the moon is not right and it's all Bush's fault, right? And you work 2 problems, and one of them you work in the class, the other one you work at home, one problem, homework. That's fine. Time, if you suck at the time, if it takes you 30 minutes to do completing the square, then you're playing Beethoven 1 key at a time. All right. Now, let's look at the test. Let me pull up the test that I've given in the past for Math 110. And let's go from that. See how many of y'all have taken advantage of the extra time that we've been given. Or we can make fun of people. Let's see. Oops, wrong key. I told you Unit 1 goes up to what, 2.4? Is that what I said? 2.3, so let's look at those. Oh yeah, that's real good. Out of 21 people, we've got 1. Let's see, yeah, 1, 2.1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 of y'all hadn't done squat. And I'm talking about a test right now. So that means some of y'all are gonna be SOL. Some of y'all are gonna be trying to do 2, 3 things of homework, or 4 things of homework in the next day or 2. Good luck. Thought I'd be pleased. Now I'm just pissed off. Yeah. All right, you might want to make a note of what you see on the board, because I'm going through and I'm going to take out some questions. Determine the domain and the range. Well, for you right now, all of you should be going, that's easy. That's what you should be saying. Use transformation to tell us what that looks like. What is that -2? Right here. What is that?
That's what.
2 to the what? To the right. Oh, we didn't listen to you, Hubert. Okay. The -1 is 1 what? Down? What does a 2 tell us? It's irregular, meaning it's positive, but it also is what? Being squished a little bit. Yep. So, it's not these 2. Why is it not these 2? They're negative. That would be a -2 or a -1 or a -3 right there. So those 2 are out. So it's one of these 2. Which one has a, let's see, one of them's supposed to have a vertical shift of 1. Why doesn't it? It's one of these 2. Why it doesn't have, you might have to plug it in. Let's see, plug in 0. 0 minus 2 is what? -2. And, no. Did I plug in 0? Okay, I'm sorry, 2. 2 minus 2. So we're going to plug in 2. So that should be, here it is. It's right here. This one. See? So you can get that one. That's not a problem. Which branch? If you get it wrong, pick Boy Scouts, okay? Don't pick Army. All right, please. All right. We got to change that one. Which one you think's right? Yeah, that's which one says the only email address and the only cell number? I've got to revise it because my cell number changed.
Are you talking about, what was the last one, Marine?
Yeah. Oh, y'all gonna write them down now? Yeah, Marines. But if you're gonna get it wrong, pick Boy Scouts or the Navy. All right, interval notation. We talked about that. Which one is from 0 to 2.7 with less than or equal, less than? Which one? I mean, which letter? A, B, C, or D? B?
Yeah.
Right here? B?
Yeah.
And then which one down here? B. We talked about what parentheses mean and what brackets mean. So, how is homework, test, and exam weighed in Hubert's course? This is the number one missed question on my easy questions. Why do people miss this one? Which one you think they picked?
The D.
D. Why is D wrong?
Because it only ends in the 9.
Yep. Ms. Evans, people get it wrong? Yes, they get it wrong. No, she's been in my class before. Okay, now I didn't cover this a lot, and it's not that important, but I will show you how to do it for your homework. Or did we cover one of these? Did we? You can do it two different ways. One, you can add the two together, or two, you can do it on the board, whichever one you want to do. They don't give you what f of x is and what g of x is. So since they don't give it to you, you can't add them algebraically because you don't know what they are. So like if f of x was 2 plus 4 or x plus 4 and g of x was x plus 2, then your final answer would be 2x plus 6. And then you could plug in f of 1, f plus g of 1 and get 2x plus 6, that'd be 2 plus 6 is 8. You get 8. And that would be your answer, 8 right here. But since we don't have an algebraic f of x is equal to 2x x plus 1 and blah, 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 we just have this, you're going to have to go by the graph. So, I'm just going to show you this for your homework and other purposes. I don't know if I'll put one on the test. Very unlikely. But if I do, let me show you how to do it. First thing you're going to have to do is don't forget about your pre-algebra X and Y chart. Remember that pre-algebra? Most of the time you're going to plug in X, and what do you get?
You get 1.
You get Y most of the time. All right, let's put this on the back burner a little bit because this is not sophisticated enough for us. So what we have to do is we change it and put a pinky up, and this is X. And now, pinky's up. This is f of x. So whatever we plug in for x, we get what? Which is another way of writing what?
Y.
Whenever you see a number in parentheses, what does that mean? That means you're plugging in what? Plugging and chugging. You're going to plug that into whatever this is, right? So x, in this case, right here, is 1. Everybody agree with that? So if you're given x, then what do you got to find? There you go. X is equal to 1. What is the red dot? What is the y for the red dot?
1.
Let me change this one to blue. X is equal to 1. What is y? And they're basically saying take y of f plus g of f at 1 and do what with it? What's negative 2 plus 1? I guarantee you there's 4 or 5 of y'all that tried this on the homework and you have no clue. And you have no clue how to do it. That's all you're doing. You're finding the y's and you're doing what? Adding together. Alright, let's do a nerd. Plug in 0. So I'm going to plug in a 0 in red, and I'm going to plug in a 0 in y. We don't have anything algebraically to plug it into, 2x plus 4, 3x minus 2, so we have to depend on the graph. So the red 0 is what? 0. The blue 0 is what?
Negative.
And what's these two added together? Alright, you try the next one. Try C. C, we're looking at negative 1 here and negative 1 here. And what's negative 1? What does negative 1 give us right here? Negative 1. And what does negative 1 give us with blue? What's those two multiplied? All right, now you can just do away with this and say f of 1, f of 1 is right here, which is what? What's f of 1? Well, I've been doing it real fast after the second, I'm sorry. I've been doing it up here, I'm sorry, I'll go back and change it. F of 1, I thought this was f of that. F of 1 is what? Negative 2, so that's the blue, sorry about that.
Okay.
I thought the red was f of that, I'm sorry. And G of 1, right here is what? Positive 1. And what's your answer? Negative 2 is your answer. So you need to check. Multiplication is commutative, so that doesn't matter. Addition is commutative, so that probably doesn't matter. This one's probably the one that matters, so let's redo this. Let me erase that answer. Well, I just want to make sure. I don't want it to. All right, or f of x. What is f of 0? F of 0 is what? Negative 1? So negative 1 minus, and then g of 0 is 0, so negative 1. So it doesn't matter. Because it's 0. Is that what they're asking y'all down here? Is that what they're asking? Okay. So, and this is a test question. If I put that on the test, some people just stare at it because they don't know what to do because of the way it's worded. Basically, you don't have any algebra to go with, so you have to rely on what? The graph and your old one, negative 1, 2, 2, 0, 0.
Output table.
Dang old pre-algebra.
That old outfit.
There you go. Now you're getting it. Dang old living in a ditch. All right, so y'all good with that? Comfortable ditch. All right, let's do a nerd.
Tornado comes
Who's coordinating?
Oh yes, the difference quotient. I know we covered this, didn't we? I know we covered difference quotient because this is very important in Calc 1. So plug and chug. Do it. We did cover difference quotient, right? That might have been my Calc 2 class.
It was a while back.
All right, difference quotient is right there. That's the difference quotient. Where does it come from? Well, I'll show you. Quick lesson in Calc 1, or review. Here's your handy dandy first quadrant. Okay? You got a dot here. You got a dot here. Amazing stuff. Okay? But I want to find the slope for those that are listening. I want to find the slope of that blue line. How do I do it? Well, how do you find the slope of y? Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, right? Delta y over delta x, rise over run, vertical over horizontal, however you learned it. So, okay, hold your pinky up because we can't say y, that's not sophisticated. So what is this?
X.
X. And this is
Y. F
Are you on drugs?
of X.
That comes from my cousin Dean. All right, we can't call this x. We could call it x of 2, but we're not. This distance right here, some people call it d, some people call it h. I'm going to just put h right here. I'm just going to put a line there. Some people use d. I don't know. So if I wanted to tell you what this right here was, this coordinate, what would I call it?
X.
And what would this coordinate be right here?
The FX plus H.
F of x plus h. So somebody give me the slope of this line. The slope of that line is equal to y sub 2. What's y sub 2? Which way do we read?
Would be that FX plus H.
We read from left to right, correct? So here's your x sub 2, y sub 2 right here. And this is your x sub 1, y sub 1 here. So x sub 2, or y sub 2 would be what?
FX plus H.
F of x plus h minus, what's the f of 1?
FX.
Over
X plus H minus X.
what happens to the x's? And you're left with the difference quotient, which is the slope. This is one of those things that you need to highlight for Calc 1. Difference quotient or slope is equal to f of x plus h minus f of x over h. Yeah, you need to, that's one of the, like, rationalizing the denominator, the factoring, the complete the square. You need to take one of the little plastic tabs, put out there and put a star on it and say difference quotient, because you're going to see it again the first couple of weeks in California. And all that is a fancy way of writing one. Slope. Y sub 2 minus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And there's x sub 1 right here. This is x sub 2. And this is y sub 2. So that's the difference quotient. Now, how do you use the difference quotient? The way you use the difference quotient is, well, how do you do this? What's this mean? So whenever there's an x, or wherever there's an x in the equation, you're going to plug in 1. Okay? What does this mean? Wherever there's an x, you're going to plug in x plus a, just like that. And y'all did exactly what you were supposed to do. Y'all just sat there and what? Stared at it. Okay? So, well, Hubert, what do we do? Well, this is f of x, isn't it? So, we're going to write that. But the first one we're going to write is going to have a big set of parentheses. Why? Because we got to plug in what?
That
X plus h. Minus, I'm going to draw brackets because that is, that right there. Minus f of x. So what is f of x? 3x to the third over h. And what goes in here? X plus h. So now what? I want somebody to bite. I want somebody to bite. I want somebody to bite. Come on.
Going to,
Well, you're getting there, but not, you can't distribute yet. You can distribute, you're going to distribute, you already said that, but not yet.
not gonna define.
No. Let's just put cannot be done. That's the best way to get out of it. Or erase something. Why don't we erase the 3? No, that won't work. What can be done? This right here can be broken up into 3 x plus h quantity squared, x plus h. And what is this? Shortcut number 1. So get to work on the algebra there. Brackets minus 3x cubed over h. So go ahead and be working on this. And then once you do shortcut number 1 here, what are you going to do here?
Shortcut number 2.
No, you're disappointment. You got a 2-story ditch, don't you?
X squared.
You're going to take this and do what with it? Distribute it. That's when you say distribute it. Now you can distribute it. And then when you get through with all that, you can distribute the what? That's right, class. This is 100% Algebra 2. There's nothing new here. The only new thing is plugging this in. That's the only new thing. The rest of it is Algebra 2 material. All right, so using shortcut number 1 here, you're going to get brackets 3 x squared plus 2xh plus h squared times x plus h, close brackets, minus 3x cubed, in brackets. We really don't care about that because it's not going to do anything yet. And now distribute this x and distribute this h. And that's going to give you brackets 3 times x cubed plus 2x squared h plus xh squared plus hx squared plus 2xh squared plus h to the third, close brackets, minus 3x cubed over h. And then distribute that 3, you're going to get 3x cubed plus 6x squared h plus 3xh squared plus 3h
X squared.
x squared, what?
I was just saying what you were saying.
Plus 2, now you done messed me up. Thanks a lot there, brilliant. You on drugs.
That's my job.
6, 8, x h squared plus 3h cubed minus 3x cubed. Now I heard someone say we can what? And that's what you're supposed to do. And when you combine, basically what's going to be left over? All your h's. So let's take out all our, that 3x cubed goes out with this 3x cubed. Anything else without an h? I don't think anything else cancels, because you're gonna be left, now you can combine some, yes, but I'm looking to see, there's two can combine, I think.
Wait, why is that one 3HX squared?
I don't know, check, make sure, I don't know. X times x is x cubed. X times 2xh is 2x squared h. X times h squared is x squared. H times x squared is hx squared. H times 2x h is 2xh squared. And h times h is h cubed. And then distribute the 3. It'll be 3, 6, 3. 3, 6, 3. And then 3, 6, 3. 3, 6, 3. Now, let's take that. Alright, now let's take that. It's all over H. I'm not going to worry about this. Oh, this just thing would work with me one time. It's only the operators, not me. It's all Bush's fault. Alright, 6x squared h. Do we have another x squared h right there? That's a 9x squared h, right?
Yeah.
9x squared h. So this one and this one is 9x squared h plus 9xh squared H go around plus 3h cubed over h. Now, factor out an h on the top, and we get h 9x squared plus 9xh plus 3h squared over h, and the h is what? And you're left with 9x squared plus 9xh plus 3h squared. And that's your final answer for this. Move to the next problem. Is that it? Is that it? Yeah, that's the answer. I'm not typing it in, but that's the answer. Now, I'm going to take it. What time is it? Because y'all go into hysterics.
35.
Okay. Let's take this over to the next page. I'm going to show you what you're going to do in calculus, just for your own information. Actually work. No, I'm just surprised. Somebody give it to me. Right with it. What is it?
It's 9x squared
9x squared
plus 9xh plus 3h squared.
Now, what you're going to be given in calculus, you're going to go over all this algebra first week, and then they're going to throw the limit at you. And they're going to say the limit as h approaches 0. What did we say the h was a while ago? Remember the chart I showed you?
Oh, is the D?
Yeah, right here.
It is.
So, what is that h doing? If it goes to 0, what is it doing? Going like this, isn't it? That's what it's doing. Now, as this goes down, 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 what does this do? Going down, 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 down. And the secant line, that's what this is, the secant line, turns into the tangent line. Because it's right down to here. Right? And we're talking about the width of a hair. Okay? Because it doesn't touch this dot, but it gets what? Right up next to it. That's the whole limit thing. So this secant line turns into a tangent line, which basically is, okay? Now that's going to be talked about in calculus, okay? Now, go back to the equation. So as h approaches 0, as those two dots get closer and closer together, you get 9x squared plus 9x times 0 plus 3 times 0 squared. And what happens to these two?
Becomes 0.
And your answer is,
Priority 1 message
that is
coming
the
in on
equation
secure
for the
channel.
tangent line. Now, in calculus, in the second unit, or the first unit, you're going to be given a form of a derivative. Where's the problem? Hold on. Okay. 3x, what was the original problem? 3x what? F of x is equal to 3x cubed. And you're going to be taught in calculus, and instead of doing that quotient rule, the difference quotient, all you got to do, multiply 3 times 3, and take 3 minus 1, and that's the 2, instead of doing the quotient. So, you can either do the difference quotient, which is how many steps? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you got to do the limit, which I just did right there. 10, 11, 11, 12, whatever. Or you can learn the calculus and just do
So is that the financial balance?
that's the time I have to do calculus. Right? Huh? I mean, that's what you learn in calculus. That's what you learn in calculus. I'm showing.
Why do you subtract 1?
That's the rule.
That's the rule.
Yeah.
That is the rule.
You always subtract 1. And when you do the, but that's in calculus, and I'm not going. I just want to show you where this is headed, because I don't want you to think, oh, well, he says he's going to use the calculus. This right here is the first test. Half the test, you're going to be doing this, and this. That's half the test, Unit 1 test. And then the second part of the Unit 1 test is doing these guys. And you do about 10 of these, or 5 or 6 of these. And what's the purpose of you doing all that longhand stuff and doing this? You appreciate this when you do all that longhand stuff. Just like you appreciate the calculator if you ever have to use a trigonometric table or a slider. You appreciate the calculator. Okay, so that's that problem. What's that mean right there? That x minus 2, what does that minus 2 mean?
Negative. Right.
Yeah, it's negative 4. You tight, man. You right on it. What does the negative 2 mean? Horizontal shift to the right.
Oh,
And what does the cube mean? It means it's going to be going like that. So which one is it? Should be A. Why is it not these? This one has a vertical shift. See, the original, here's the original right here is in blue. The red is what's moving. Okay? You know from your parent graph, turn your parent graphs, that it's going through what? What is x cubed going through? Going through the origin. What's that one? All of them are going through the origin. The blues are all going through the origin. That's not a problem. But what's this one doing? It's going 2 what? 2 down. Well, that's a vertical shift. That would be out here. -2 or minus whatever. So that's not right. Who was that got me out of there? Oh, back. All right. What's this one doing? Going to the left. Well, I told y'all that this is the only time this means the opposite. So that's not right. What's this one doing? So, finish it on that. That's a gimme. I put some of those on the test just so y'all don't come away with a 0. Gimme. 0.
Me?
Yeah. All right, next one. Will Hubert's final be online? Yeah, I didn't know. Duh. I don't know. Yes. F composed of G. F composed of G. When you're in the fog, that means that you're going to write F with BA parentheses. So what is F of X? 4x minus 1. So you're going to rewrite it with big parentheses. 4 parentheses minus what? 1. And what goes in this spot right here? G of x, which is x squared plus 2. It looks like plus 2. It's minus. I mean, minus 2 plus. And now, simplify. 4x squared plus 8 minus 1. And what's 8 minus 1? Plus 7. What would G compose of F? God, what would that be? G composed of F means that you're going to rewrite G with BA what? Rewrite G of X with BA parentheses. So parentheses squared plus 2, and what goes in here? 4x minus 1, and then you got shortcut number 2.
Which you're not going to plug in the -7 for the x.
Yeah, after that. Yeah. Did the other one have that too?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, plug it in at the end, yes. Thank you. You're a winner. All right, so take thing over 4, it's going to be 16x squared minus what? 8x plus 1 plus 2, and what's 1 plus 2?
3.
Good job.
I'm a winner.
Yeah. And then what do you do with that? If it said G composed of F of -7.
Plug in all the x's with
There we go. And F composed of G of -7. You're going to take that -7 and plug it in right here. Dang old 4 times 49, dang old 196 plus 7, dang old 203. Something like that. Let me check. Find functions f and g such that I ain't going to give you that. Where's all of Hubert's test and homework done? In the kitchen. That's a good answer. Which one? Online.
I got this
Graph the following. Well, how would you graph that? Big old V, vertical shift down, so it'd start right there at 2, right here, and it'd go. Now, you need to graph it with the utility on here, but I'm just showing you how to do it. Okay, it won't let me, but. That's what it's going to look like. And you do it on here, and you know that if you plug in 0, what are you going to get? -2. If you plug in 1, 1 minus 2 is what? -1. So at 1, you're going to get -1. And at -1, you're going to get -1. Okay?
That last question.
What?
You doing homework in the bathroom? I can just see you like using.
If
the
you have
basket.
several forms of a test,
Like he's been a bad student using this toilet paper. Like when you grade.
I think you need to quit. Drop it downstairs. If you take several forms of one of Hubert's tests, one unit, like unit 1 test, if you take several forms, what do I do as far as counting the grade?
Take somebody's grade from
You know, I call you loser and failure. Yep. I have it. That's what the whole, that's what the handout says. That,
You just said average and didn't put the other one.
no, the handout says, take the handout. Take the last row.
If I just say yes, I'm not gonna average.
I was being facetious.
No.
That's weird.
I don't know my old rules. Okay, I'm sorry. Next one. It says it on the handout. Okay, we did one like this. That looks like the one we just did. But what's the vertical shift? -3. So we're looking for something negative. That's not it. Maybe, I don't know. That's not it. Why is this one not it? Because that's up. All right, we need a horizontal shift of what? 2 to the what? 2 to the left. That looks like this one. See, this one has no horizontal shift. This one is 2 to the right and 3 down. Nope. It's another gimme. That one shouldn't take no more than 30 seconds. Okay, that's another G composer. No, I'm not doing those. I'm going to take those off. Okay, there's a, all right, you got to read this one. It says, use the graph of y is equal to f of x to graph a function g of x, and g of x is equal to f of x minus 3. So if g of x is f of x minus 3, this is a what? Horizontal or vertical shift? Huh? Vertical. So you look for this, only what? 3 down. See? Another gimme. Set the Hilbert notation. This is a gimme. X such that x is between 5 and what? 7. Well, that took a lot of work. Does Hubert replace your lowest grade with your final exam grade? Water. Yeah, that's a good one. How about Donald Duck?
Yes.
Yeah, Tuesday. It's surprising how many people miss this. All right, now this one is a can you read and can you read the graph? That's what this one is. I'm not going to go over it. Constant. What represents constant?
Where is the stage you're playing?
So where is it constant?
Between 3 and 4.
Okay.
And 0.
So make sure that you know how to read the graph. I'm not going to do that. Most of y'all know how to read the graph. Another graph reading. difference quotient, the one we just did. I'm not gonna do that one, I'll take that one off. Domain and range, that's simple. And difference quotient. So how many difference quotients you got? Couple of three. So make sure you know how to do the difference quotient. I'm not going to assign it yet. We're going to go over any questions y'all got from homework. So that means what's going to be shutting down in the next couple of days? Homework. So them 12, 15 people that ain't done squat, y'all might want to get started.